Okay, so Amazfit is one of the most popular budget smart band or smartwatch series, but the problem is there's too many of them. Amazfit Bip, Bip Lite, Verge, Verge Lite, Pace, Stratos, GTS, GTR. I've just run out of names. So the question needs to be asked, which is the best Amazfit watch you can buy? Well, this is Pradeep from TechWiser.com, and wait. Before we begin, these are not smartwatches. Yes, you heard it right. These are not smartwatches. For a smartwatch, you need to ask two questions. Can it take calls and reply to notifications? Can you install app on it? And of course, none of these in this list can do that, with a few exceptions like the Pace and Verge. There's a workaround on them and we'll get to that in a bit. Meanwhile, let's get to the first watch. Okay, so the Bip and Bip Lite both look identical. Now, we already did a video on Bip versus Bip Lite. Some of you might have already watched it, but here's to sum it all up.
The Bip Lite doesn't have a GPS compass while the Bip does. I would like to correct one thing from my previous video. You can add custom watch faces to the Bip Lite via third-party apps. Natively, Mi Fit still doesn't let you do that. And apart from these, you get everything that you get with a fitness band like the Mi Band 4. You have the call and app notifications, alarms, which by the way has to be configured from the Mi Fit, lesser outdoor activities, weather, stopwatch, custom watch faces, etc. By the way, there's no music control on Bip and Bip Lite. And this is my point. If you compare it with a fitness band like Mi Band 4, the feature list is not that big. The only thing big is the screen and 30-day battery life.
If you want a fitness band with a bigger display and under budget, well, Bip makes sense. I don't really recommend the Bip Lite though. Amazfit Pace is the watch I love the most in this list for two major reasons. One, you can install apps on it, and two, you can even reply to notifications.
To start with, it has everything that Bip offers, like alarms, timer, sleep tracking, custom watch faces, etc. You also have the 20mm standard detachable wrist straps. On top of that, it looks really well built. The ceramic bezel does provide it some weight, but it's tough as hell. I've had some accidental hits on the wall, and also it's been a week of usage, but I didn't see any scratches on it. Now, coming to the feature part, I really loved what the Amazfit Pace offers. To start off, you get onboard storage access. You can load songs, connect your Bluetooth earphones to it, and listen to the songs independent of your phone. You get approx 2 GB of storage. Here's how you sideload songs. Just connect the watch to your laptop, you get storage access, and start pasting your playlist. On a side note, I found the audio output from the watch to the earphones a tad bit low. But it doesn't stop here. Since you have onboard access, you also get ADB access. And you might already know Amazfit OS is based on Android. So it should support installing Android apps. Well, it does. You can sideload a mod called Amaze mod, and you get reply to notifications. Of course, since there's no keyboard, you have to be content with message templates. But nonetheless, I can add my custom message replies through the Amaze mod mobile app, and now I don't have to pull out my phone from the pocket to reply to the Slack messages. I already have a detailed article and a step-by-step guide on this. I'll link it below in the description. Apart from that, other Wear OS apps like Amazing Music Player, Voice Recorder also work on the Pace, but not all Wear OS apps will work. They should support Android 5 and have to be standalone apps. For example, Uber won't work on the watch since it requires an Android companion on the smartphone. Pace is built for people who are into hardcore sports and outdoor activities. So you have a huge number of workout activities like running, cycling, tennis, soccer, etc. However, I didn't find any swimming activity on it. Additionally, here's what I noticed. The Pace somewhat features the same PPG heart rate sensor as found on the Bip and Bip Lite. But I've never seen the Bip go beyond 150 to 160 during a run. Here's the side-by-side data along with the Galaxy Watch for a perspective. And as you can see, Pace was quite good at analyzing the anaerobic and VO2 range, whereas the Bip never crossed the 140 mark. Having said that, the inferior heart rate sensor only comes to notice when you work out. Finally, not everything's great with the Pace. With so many options and mods, the UI at times gets sluggish and takes time to respond.
Well, Amazfit Pace is what I would really recommend. You can install some Android apps on it and you even get reply to notifications. Pretty much justifies the price tag. So next up we have the Verge and Verge Lite, and Verge is the only watch in this list which has native calling support.
But hey, no one takes a call on the smartwatch. Like, we have had the Galaxy Watch for about 2 years now and rarely would have taken calls on the watch. It's just not effective. You mostly connect your Bluetooth earphones to the watch and take calls on them. Which brings me to the point. Yes, you get onboard storage on the Verge just like Pace, so you can load songs, install Wear OS apps and get reply to notifications. Now let's come down to the Verge Lite. The closest competition to the Verge Lite is the Bip, and if I have to sum it up in one line, the Verge Lite is basically a Bip with an AMOLED screen. Both offer more or less similar features. The only major difference I found is the UI. The interface on the Verge Lite is really polished, while Bip on the other hand feels childish. Like, have a look. You swipe up from the watch face on the Verge Lite to go to the menu, which is quite like your smartphone, whereas on the Bip you swipe sideways and don't get many options, plus this app icons. And the dumbest thing about it is you cannot add alarms on the watch. You can do that on the Verge Lite, but not on the Bip. I wonder what the restriction is. But having said all of these, I still recommend the Bip over Verge Lite. The Verge Lite doesn't justify the price tag. It still only does whatever the Bip does in a slightly better way.
So if you need an Amazfit watch with native calling support, Verge is the only option, and I don't really recommend the Verge Lite. And finally, we have the Amazfit GTS and GTR. I have combined both of them, although they look different, but the internals are pretty much the same.
First impressions, the GTR is the most well-built watch on this list. I wasn't that impressed with the GTS build. It looks and feels quite mediocre. Having said that, these two have a great display. I mean, the best display I've seen in a while. Here, have a look. The Galaxy Watch has a similar size display and the GTR looks sharper compared to it. Apart from these, you cannot access calls or reply to notifications on the GTS and GTR. Leaving that aside, whatever you get on the watch is good. I personally like the GTS, and let's just leave the Apple Watch similarity here. Every Square watch is not an Apple Watch, although they have similar wallpapers. The thing with the Square display is it's easier to read messages. Have a look at the same message on both GTS and GTR. The rounded display leaves less space for text, while it's easy to read on a squarer one. And talking about notifications, both the GTS and GTR cannot show the app icon that is sending the notification. Like here, I have a Slack message and the Pace can easily show the icons as well as emojis, but the GTS and GTR can't. I think this can be fixed by an OTA update. Please, Amazfit. Another small thing that I found only on the GTS and GTR is the RealBeats AI-based biological data engine. This basically analyzes your heart rate data around the clock and would indicate to you about arrhythmia. Arrhythmia is basically an irregular heartbeat pattern, and this helps to identify blood clots, heart stroke, etc. Take this with a grain of salt, it's just a watch.
Who is it for? Well, not for many people. If you really want a smartwatch, go for the Galaxy Watch, and if you are in the Apple ecosystem, the Apple Watch is a no-brainer. It's the best smartwatch and miles ahead of the competition. With that being said, Amazfit Bip, Verge and Pace is what I really recommend. Apart from that, we're really excited about the Mi Color watch coming to India. And on that note, this is Pradeep signing off. See you soon.